So, we've talked before on this channel about how net zero is set to be potentially the new Brexit battlefield or the new cultural battlefield, where at least the Tories are hoping, or at least, shall we say, the more extremist elements like, well, Nigel Farage, can at least once again come and try and outflank the Conservatives on their right and essentially try and pull away their voters and thus, well, pull them into something, well, even more ridiculous, like he did with Brexit. And ultimately, we are going to see a lot of people, unfortunately, in the UK in the coming weeks and months suffer really, really badly because of, again, rising energy prices, the cost of living crisis. It's all going to come together, unfortunately, unfortunately, a tornado of, well, brutality. There's no other way really to put it. But of course, expect to see not only Nigel Farage, but probably a lot of other Brexiteers come out and say that they are now against net zero and how that voting for net zero is now a vote for poverty in an attempt to try and, again, galvanize, shall we say, more popular support and, well, con people into thinking, like they did with the Brexit vote, that net zero is not going to be a positive good for this country. It is going to be, well, a net negative. And even you've seen Farage go out and publicly demand that there needs to be some sort of referendum on net zero. There really, it really doesn't need to be, doesn't need to go that far, to be honest. But this is unfortunately the bizarre situation that we are in, as we always find ourselves in bizarre situations at this moment in time in this country. It's kind of odd, but there you go. But needless to say, looks like Farage, even though he's so opposed to all this quote green crap, as he keeps on calling it, looks as if he's about to eye a very massive green energy payday. So just before we go diving into this article and, well, his hypocrisy, we'll just ask you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and of course, comment below about what you think about Nigel's payday. And of course, there are links down below as well to my Patreon page and a donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, tuning in. And now on with the article. So this comes from the London Economic with the title of Farage eyes a £16 million green green energy payday despite net zero opposition. Nigel Farage is in line for a multi-million pound payday from a green energy firm, despite being a vocal opponent of the government's net zero drive. The former UKIP leader could net up to 18.5 million euros, around 15.7 million pounds, in share options through investments in a Dutch carbon offsetting movement. Farage, who recently launched a political movement to challenge Boris Johnson's net zero push, chairs the advisory of the Dutch green businesses. He was also reportedly to have been brought into the board by his friend George Mappin, who has a 30% stake in the business with his wife. And according to the Daily Telegraph, Mappin is a very pro-Putin Cornish hotelier and a leading conspiracy theorist who offers discounts to anti-vaxxers. Well, judge people by the company they keep, I suppose. Judge away. Farage, of course, is a leading member of the Vote Power, Not Poverty, a campaign fighting Johnson's climate change agenda. Again, sounds very, very much like the Brexit slogans that we've always heard back in 2016. He has insisted that he is, quote, a conservationist and that the campaign is aimed at urging the government to develop the UK's own energy supplies. And it has emerged that the ex-Brexit Party chief owns a 1 million share options in DGB, which can be redeemed if the company's share price leaps from its current level of €1 to €20, netting Farage at least €18.5 million. Speaking to the Financial Times, Farage said that his relationship with the DGB is, quote, in abeyance, and has played down the likelihood of receiving a windfall from the company, adding that if I had a better forecast at Cheltenham last week, I would have won 20 million. Mappin, meanwhile, obviously has been loudly espousing pro-Putin tweets on Twitter. And on the 24th of February, the day of the Russian president invaded Ukraine, he said, "What President Putin has done is a gift for the freedom of the world. Those who love freedom have a duty to back him up." Again, kind of bizarre that Farage have all these pro-Putin friends. Strange. And of course, Svelsky Dervelschen, I think that's how you say it, the chief executive of DGB, said that we share a mutual passion for planting trees, but DBG disagrees with Farage's recent comments about net zero. DGB has no relationship whatsoever with the Maplin family and does not in any way agree with their political views, and we are distancing ourselves from them entirely. So, are we surprised by this? Absolutely not. This is the classic, you know. I oppose one thing, but actually I have multi-million pounds invested in the very thing that I'm said to oppose. Of course, another classic example is, of course, Jacob Rees-Mogg, meant to be heavily against abortion and any paraphernalia to involve abortion, from birth control pills to condoms. But as it has turned out, he has a massive multi-million pound stake in a pharmaceutical company that, guess what, produces abortion pills. I'd say I'm surprised, but I'm really not. This is just, again, one of the usual bizarre and strangely tactical things that Farage has done over the bizarre many years of his life. You know, he opposes one thing and then supports another. This is what we see all the time from these types. So, are we surprised? Absolutely not. Of course, this was going to come out. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were looked to further into many of these conservatives who, again, are against net zero. Wouldn't surprise me to find that they themselves are also, shall we say, investing in green companies when they go out and say the exact opposite of what they want the government to do. But of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching and tuning in. And of course, we'll see you all next time.